I'm Glenn Spain. I'm from Saxe, Texas. I'm not a rawhide braider, but I certainly admire the work of the skilled men and women who do it. And I'm here at the Rawhiders gathering to pick up some of those skills and take it back home and put it to practice. There aren't many braiders in our part of the country, but I have the good fortune of being fairly close to Clint and a couple of other guys that have been involved in this for a long time. So it's a wonderful, wonderful hobby. I've enjoyed what little braiding that I've done, and I expect that my skill level will improve quite a bit after being here this week.
You need to braid about 13 inches.
13? Okay.
Yeah, 13, 12, 13 inches.
I'm not tightening that up enough, I don't think.
Tight,
Yeah.
until it hurts you. You want your fingers to hurt.
Okay. Yeah, they'll be sore by the end
But
of
I
the
have
day.
gloves. I have gloves, and these two fingers are cut off here, and these two are all the way. And I'll wrap around. Also, you see right here, that blister?
Yes.
I will put tape on my hands. I'll tape that joint, this joint, and this joint, this joint, and this joint. I'll tape these two fingers really good if I'm going to braid. Then I put those gloves on, then my hands don't get sore. If your hands get sore, you'll start pulling a little more on one side than you are the other, and your braid will start creeping over.
Right.
I generally tape up or put Band-Aids on before I ever start braiding, and that keeps me from getting sore so that my braid doesn't creep one way or the other. And my hands are so delicate and feminine, I like keeping them that way. Because I'm a delicate guy. Is that enough?
I think it'll be enough for now. Yes. Thank you.
But I always tape before I get sore. And that way, my braid is straighter, the whole deal, and you're screwed up there, didn't you? Are you all right?
I think I'm okay.
And I use a lot of grease on my braid. There you go.
There we
Put some grease on it. Put a little grease on it.
Okay. No, I've still got a string that's out here.
Take your hands and just rub that grease down there. So go down on, yeah, there's strings there. Good. Rawhide, you got to keep them greased. You don't want them getting too dry. And I go all the way down to the end with my grease. There you go. Because that'll dry out. That on the end will dry out quick. See. If you just put grease on them all the way down every now and then, that's good.
Okay.
Wipe your hands off now. So it's just, I keep a big old bath towel right there on my bench, so if I need to, if my hands get too slick from my grease, where's your core at? Let the core keep coming to you there. Don't worry about the core, you're right around the core. And if my hands get too slick, then it's what I can do is I can wipe my hands off and go back to braiding, because that left underneath.
I'll dry my hands off. That's so slick. I can't. No?
Leave it
No?
on there. Leave it on
Okay.
there. You got to pull that string that you just brought around and pull it tight. Pull it that way. Let me show you something. When you braid something there, they're loose. When you braid this string here, it comes all the way underneath and around, and pull it back over this way. And I pull it over my thumb. And I got my little fingers right there. So. And that's what's pulling. Okay? So just pull it around. But double it over. There you go. Take these and pull them up like that. Leave your thumb. There you go. Leave your cord dangling. There you go. Just leave your cord dangling. And when you do that, that just tightens everything up and keeps everything straighter. string again now. There you go. Roll up. Yeah, just like that. Leave your core dangling.
I want to grab that every time.
The more you pull that core around, the more you're breaking the fibers down in that core.
Okay.
You don't want to break the fibers down. Good. Good. Did you feel it give a little bit up there?
Yes, yes.
Leave your core dangling. I think I got a twist, but I can feel underneath here, and I can feel the little bump or little twist underneath. And I get twists. We all get twists. But if I suspect it, and sometimes this string is so pretty that you can't tell which is hair side and which is the flesh side. Like his string is really pretty. He made it real pretty and slick. And so sometimes you can't tell if you get a twist and you can't tell where it's at or anything else. And he's going to have trouble getting it started. I'm going to have a lot of fun watching him get it started because he didn't do it in sequence.
No, I didn't.
So we'll see here if he figures it out. That's a real nice job. It's nice and straight and everything. It looks really good. So it's right here.
Okay, we're getting close.
This, and this. These go over here on this side. These go on this side. This goes over here on this side. And there's 3 of them there. That goes there. Sometimes if I got 12, I'll run my awl up through here, and I'll pull them all out, and I wind up with them just right, 6 and 6, 8 and 8. Sometimes I'll run an awl up through there to get them all just right. This was simple. Always, if you have a twist, I don't care if it's under the nose button or where it's at, undo it and straighten it out. I mean, you don't want to have to apologize for having a twist under a nose button that makes a little bump underneath your nose button that you're not proud of.
I saw this set of reins in Argentina from my cousin, and I saw this little braiding. It was a long knot on the reins, and I said, "Oh, how is that done? Is that one string, several strings? What is the end? What's the beginning?" It's like it just got me right there. I need to learn how to do this. The thing is that there wasn't people around to ask, but I was asking anyways, and I found a person that taught me to tie the Spanish ring, but that was all he knew. So then he sent me to somebody else. That guy showed me a little one-turn button, but I didn't understand what he did. He just showed me over his finger, so at least I learned that, okay, it's one string. I don't know what he did. He was talking about making pairs and splitting pairs, but I don't know. To me, that was new language. I don't know what he was saying. So I went home, get a shoelace, and I started trying on my finger for hours, trying to get something. And finally, like at 2 a.m, I got something done. And just because I didn't want to forget what I just did, I took it out of my finger, put it aside, get my other shoelace, and I did it again. So that's how I got my first button. And years later, I found that there was a book, and I ran to the bookstore to get it, and I started reading from that book, and I learned that whatever I did was not in the book. It was different. So, and that's how I was learning and trying to find. At that time, there was not a lot of people around me that could pass me any information. And even I cut strings for about 10 years with scissors because I didn't know any other way. That's like my own notes. So that's the best way I can put things down, so I can go back to my notes and remember what I did. My little book of notes is not good enough without pictures and stuff. So I realized that it was better just to put it in that format with all the steps in pictures and so for my own use to begin with. But then I have a lot of books, and just by reading all of them, I noticed two things. One is that sometimes for a certain thing, a braiding or a button or something, the books just use 1 or 2 pages, or just 1 page for the braiding, and that's not very detailed. So I thought, no, it has to be more, more detailed so people can understand it better. So that was one thing. The other was, I have seen drawings in different books of some braidings, and the drawings just look awful. You don't feel inspired. You don't say, "Oh, I wanna do that because it looks good." No, they look bad. But then later, I saw the real thing done by somebody else, and I thought, "Oh man, that looks good. Where did you learn that?" "Oh, it's in that book." "Oh, I had the book, but the drawing doesn't look that good." So some of these drawings are not very inspiring. So that's why I thought, okay, I cannot join another of my passions, which is photography, to the braiding, and that's how I put these books together.
This is a little quirt that is made short on purpose. I use them for training hackamore horses, make quite a few of these. The poppers are Herman Oak skirting leather, and I had some leftover string, all different sizes and colors and everything, so I just thought I'd play with the knots by doing a variation that way. This quirt again has Herman Oak poppers, and all the rawhide on this one came off an old longhorn cow that died, and she would have been 600 pounds when she was in good flesh, and she was just skin and bones. This is some of the best rawhide I've ever worked. The handle is an English roe deer antler, and I've carved a lion on the end of it. And that's traded to my good friend Brandon Anthony. This is a 1/2-inch Bozell, 16 strands. Had baby calf knots on it, and the cavisada, the hanger, is made from softened rawhide, so a few little knots on it. And the Makati is a 3-strand rope. This was a kind of a fun project. I went to the Falkland Islands 2 different times to teach horsemanship, and while I was down there, I saw this pair of reins hanging in a barn, and they had rings like this, but they were just plain iron rings. But every other detail on the reins, I copied them, and I tried to buy them from the owner, and the rats had chewed a couple knots, and she said she was going to get them fixed. And I imagine the original reins are still hanging in that barn, but I got the idea, so I copied them. And the bits from Chile, and then the headstall is just a little strap leather headstall with a few knots and a little braided ear loop to kind of complete it. This is a very special hackamore that I made to honor Mr. Wilf Helmer from Alberta, who was my very first rawhide mentor. And he had made one very similar to this. It's a double pencil Bozell, and it's the type that they used in the old Pacific Northwest. Charles M. Russell never illustrated any other style of hackamore except a double pencil with a Theodore like this. The Theodore on this is cotton sash cord, which is really difficult to find now. And the little cavisada is a little 4-strand round rawhide braid. Mr. Helmer had also made a black and white mane hair rope to go with it. The one that he made in 1940. And I had Sarah Hagel make this rope, and then I put a sorrel tassel on it because Mrs. Helmer in her youth was a redhead, and I wanted to give her a little honor too. They were a family that raised horses on the Red Deer River west of Sundre, Alberta for more than 40 years, and they raised over 800 head at a time. They were as Western a couple as you'll ever meet.
I'll tell you right now, the main reason I come is it's fun. I've met a lot of really nice people. I've met people from all over the world. And I'm here to have fun, meet different people, see my old friends again, people I've made that are friends. It's kind of like my horse showing career. It didn't last very long, but I met a lot of awful good people and got to good people, and that's the thing. Everybody here seems to be very good people, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. And I may not do much, but I sure do enjoy the few little things I pick up. I enjoy the camaraderie. I mean, it's just a great time. I mean, for a vacation, you can't beat it. I really come wanting to learn how to do some knots. I already knew some knots, and I found that I really didn't know enough to even do the knots that I was doing. So I'm trying to learn some of that, but I also learned how to prepare rawhide. And I've not done a lot of it. I did a goat hide 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. I brought it last year, I think. And I'd done it the year before that, and then I did a calf hide this year. And it wasn't perfect, but it was off. I asked for pointers on how to get things better, and there wasn't a whole lot, that was pointing out that I'd done real bad. You might have done this a little better, you did this just fine. Your hide's thin, small calf's going to be thin hide, makes buttons out of it. I mean, I've learned where to use what part of the calf or the hide to make stuff with. And, thin hide is going to be button straight, unless you want to make bracelets and some things like that, which I may endeavor first. But I started out braiding with a Bruce Grant book back in 1986. And I made some keychains. And I took horsehair and put in the middle of them, and then I tied a couple of buttons on there, and I couldn't told you what kind of buttons they was or the name of them. But I got to where I enjoyed that, and I made several of them, and I thought, well, I'd like to learn how to really get into the buttons and make some interweaves. And I've just not pursued it hard enough to advance myself very much. But I've really, when I come down here, whether I go home and make anything or not, I've still have had a good time and learned some stuff. I mean, it's just like an old blind hog will find a hickory nut every now and then. And so when I come down here, I'm kind of like that. I pick up a little something every time. If it has to do with the equipment that you use, the hide that you have, preparing the hide, using the hide, getting your hide usable to rawhide braid. And I tell you, it has taught me a whole lot about the quality of the work. And people talk about the price and the cost of buying good quality rawhide, like Romels. I mean, you can buy cheap Romels, they'll last you 3 months. You can buy a good pair of Romels, they'll last you 10 years if you can wear them out thin. You stop and you think about it, if you multiply them 3-month Romels by 10 years worth, you're better off to have bought the good ones to begin with. If they had been with me this last summer when I did that calf hide out there in that 97-degree weather with 98% humidity, they'd learn how come it's expensive.
That's
but
right.
again, I'm just getting started. I mean, I can braid 8, I can braid 4, I can braid 3. I braided some 12 and 6. But if you stop and you think about the time that it has taken somebody to learn how to do this, you're paying as much for the experience and the knowledge that they've gained as you are for the actual time and labor involved. And time and labor a whole lot of this is time and labor intense. You know, people think, well, it's just like, well, it don't take nothing. I've seen a guy whoop out a set of Romels there in 3 days, and you know, well, you know, I watched my dad. He was a bricklayer. I watched my dad lay 1,000 brick in the morning, and it didn't look like he was doing nothing. And after I started working with him, I tried laying, and I did good if I could get 400 brick in the morning. You know, and I was struggling. So it's not so much that you're paying somebody for the work as you're paying them for the quality of the work. You're paying them for the knowledge that they know. My dad could take a brick that was a little crooked and lay it and make it look good when he got done. Same way with rawhide. You can take somebody that's good with rawhide, they can make something, and they can take a piece of rawhide that is me as a person that don't know nothing about it would think was good, and put it in a piece of equipment and it'll break the next day. So you know you're paying for experience, and it's something that's exciting. I mean, I watch these people in here that to me are renowned wonders. I'm envious, but I'm not. I'm kind of jealous. I don't want to be greedy here, but there's one thing about it. I don't want to know what they know. I just want to know what they forgot. So, you know, there's this rawhide gathering thing is something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy doing some craft work. I enjoy working with my hands. And I don't know if I'll ever get any better. I don't know if I'll ever go any further. But there's one thing about it, it's knowledge, and you can't take knowledge away from it.
Well, I started off with paracord probably about 25 years ago. Was braiding with paracord, and then I did a few items in rawhide because I see it in the stores and it's like, I want that, you know, but it was too expensive, so I'm going to learn how to make it myself. Just happened to come across the group on Facebook and started following them and, you know, talking to some people and stuff, and then y'all announced, of course, that it was going to be going on here in Decatur, and since that's so close to me, I'm like, I'm going. But it took me 3 years to get here. Little tips and tricks on getting my braid a lot tighter, and just, you know, just that little trick is going to improve my work by 50%, you know, at least, and just being here and being able to actually talk to somebody else that does rawhide, get to feel the stuff, you know, while they're working on it is just an amazing opportunity. Everybody's great and friendly, and they're willing to help you if, you know, if they know something that you don't know, or or vice versa, whatever. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. But I'm definitely, this is going to be a permanent on my calendar from now on.